Good morning, and welcome back to How to Run for Governor, Tennessee Political Structure, Fall 2022, Monday, October 17th, and the 8th section in our book covering abortion of officials.
Article V, Week 8. Abortion of officials. Throughout the course of time, we may find ourselves regretting initial decisions on who we would prefer in office, but that's not enough to detach the title from the person. If we don't like our current representatives, we can move to an alternate community where we find the politics more amicable, or we can wait patiently, and vote another in office. There are times, when malfeasance or some other criminal behavior occurs, the representative responsible won't resign out of shame or won't admit their involvement in any wrongdoing. Some, because of their political structure or clout, are further protected aside from the benefit of the doubt afforded them for being a representative. Officials are winners in their respective communities, so it would take a reciprocal effort to communicate resentment to an opposing party to stir in people's heads for a minute. We ask ourselves, if I were in such a position, would I have acted in a similar fashion, or was the act committed understandably unconstitutional in its nature? See, the Constitution is the most fragile possession we have, and we can't be allowed to bend on any issue, because the king, or should we say queen, and even better yet the whole world is watching us to prove to them that democracy can work where a monarchy couldn't. So, it is in everyone's best interest that pretenders to our democracy be ousted from our seats of government. A vote has to be brought before the House of Representatives to impeach where tried by the Senate. 2/3 majority becomes necessary to remove representatives and even the governor from office.
They say it is hard to win an election and even harder to stay in office, because we are held to a higher standard, and malfeasance can easily get one impeached. Orders always come from somewhere, so if one is not careful, anyone could take a part of one of our speeches and run where we hadn't planned. Some impeachable offenses are blatant, where law enforcement comes to their own decisions that a representative was suspected in an infamous crime. Some impeachable offenses are more hidden, and through a hearing on the subject the House of Representatives decides to impeach. Being impeached doesn't mean one is guilty, though as in any investigation, the prosecution has their reasons for the fuss they make, and rightfully so. As we are only as strong as our weakest link, our democracy can't be allowed to fall, because one individual feels he or she can be wrong and good. Representatives are chosen because they are of those we have to choose from, both morally right and for their communities ethically good. Being ethically good is a matter of position, which is neither right nor wrong, but a preference. Being morally right is a matter of direction, which is either good or bad. Slavery was morally right, but ethically bad, and if we were living in those days, the representatives would be the ones standing up for it until the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. So, the House of Representatives votes to impeach those representatives who don't follow the current laws in the confines of our state.
Impeachment is just the first hurdle to jump. When one has been targeted for removal, as the lower house just decides whether a trial should be arranged to determine the guilty or innocence of a representative. So, since after impeachment there is to be a trial, who better to try the case but the Senate? And since the prosecution may be wrong, the benefit of the doubt must fall on the current administration, and the representative in question is a member of the current administration. A 2/3 majority must be obtained for removal. So, if there is a power struggle between the two dominant parties, a 2/3 majority will ensure only a bipartisan conviction. Being bipartisan, we know the truth has come out, or the preponderance of evidence supporting a conviction was just too great to overlook. In an attempt to keep our democracy a democracy, we must be able to choose, and as per Article I Section 1, we can either abort the government, or in this case just remove the cancer of immorality which is eating away at the heart of our democracy. This growth continues as such until acted on by an outside force where the governor ensures it will be equal and opposite.
We might ask ourselves, why on earth do we need government, when everyone we know practices moral behavior? This is true, but there are those who think they will be morally right if they raise the speed limit or legalize cannabis, but that's, perhaps, in the future, not now. The representatives take oaths to follow and maintain as it is on the books, and if one sees where they think it should be changed, they should write legislation in favor of an alternate position. Sure, laws are made to be changed, because they are man-made, but there is policy and procedure which we must consider for the peace and tranquility of the nation. They say, well, we got impeached, the Senate tried our case and 2/3 found us guilty. They removed us from office, but who cares? We can do a lot more with our lives now that we don't have to go to session. We still represent well. We would say, we don't know about that, because we can't have someone represent anyone from jail.
A vote brought before the House of Representatives to impeach, where tried by the Senate, 2/3 majority becomes necessary to remove representatives. It's not an easy task staying in office. And no, it's not too much fun outside the parameters of one's party, because the joy found in being a democracy as opposed to a monarchy is in the victory which comes along with winning votes in elections, whereas more joy can be found in parties with greater influence. And no, we don't want this situation to happen ever again, but being impeached means, one is not falling in line with the government. We all think we are both morally right and ethically good, but one can be right and bad, however not wrong and good. Being wrong and good is worse than wrong and bad unless in a minister, because being wrong and good puts one in direct conflict with the state where the next step is rebellion.
That concludes the information for this session. We will see you back here on the 24th. Thank you for your time and attention.